Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Art Center's new series, Drawing and Seeing with me, Miss Donna. Today, it's about cityscapes. Now, there are many kinds of landscapes. Let's take a look at some. So here, we have your regular landscape. I suppose you could call that a mountainscape if you wanted to, but this is just your regular landscape. Now, this is a beach. We call this a seascape. So it's slightly different, you know. This one here, it's a desert. So what are we going to call it? You guessed it, a desert scape. And it can even get a little out there for a moonscape. Here's my moon, there's outer space. So these are the different types of landscapes I want you to notice. They all have a horizon line where the sky meets the land, except our moon, but even that might be this. Horizon lines. These are important things to have in our landscape. So, cities have all different skylines. Skyline is our second word for the day because our first word is cityscape. A cityscape is a picture of a row of buildings for a city. So they all have different skylines, which is our second word for the day, skyline. Skyline is like a horizon line, only it's the tops of the buildings instead. And each city has its own unique skyline. In fact, I pride myself in being able to tell what city it is just by the skyline. This is Los Angeles. Now we got the mountains behind it, and so that would be the horizon line. And the way you can tell it's Los Angeles, it has this round, really tall building in the middle. That's the one way you can kind of tell that it's Los Angeles. Let's take a look at another wonderful city. This city is the city of St. Louis. It's got this wonderful arch, the St. Louis Arch. And you can see, look at this. You see how these buildings all come up like that? Each one is a little different. Each one has a slightly different roof, a slightly different height. Some are close, some are far apart from each other. Let's look at another one. This is the great city of Chicago because it has the river that runs right alongside of Chicago. For a long time, that was the tallest building in the world. It was called the Sears Building, but I think they changed the name of it. And here's another city that has a very distinct building in it. This is the Prudential Building. I've actually been in that building. This is San Francisco. And I can always tell when they're showing me San Francisco because this kind of tall pyramid building is in the skyline. Look how pointy, look how different all these buildings are. And our last building, and I think you'll recognize it, this is Seattle, because that is the Space Needle. So each city has its own little unique skyline. I want you to look at all these lights. Look at the patterns of those lights. Some lights are on, some lights are off, and they make patterns. So when we do our cityscape, we're going to have some of our lights off and some of our lights on too. All right, so let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. Here is the cityscape that I have planned for you guys today. But yours is going to look different, of course, because you're not me. But let's look at this for a minute. Here is my horizon line. Kind of looks like the one with Los Angeles with the mountains behind it, right? And I want you to notice how each of these buildings is slightly different than the one next to it. They've got different shapes at the top. They've got different windows. Some have different decorations on them. Each one is unique, just like in real life. Now look at my freeway on-ramp, right? Look how it's fat here and skinny there. That's because this is farther away and this is closer to you. And I know that car looks complicated, but I'm going to show you a very easy way to make cars. And don't forget, we've got our little sidewalk thing going on here. Here's the edge of the sidewalk. And here is the pillar that holds up our freeway, right? Because it can't just hang there. So, what do you guys think? Are we ready to make a cityscape today? Let's begin. All right, now do you remember how I said the first line we need is our horizon line? This is where the sky meets the land, okay? Now we're going to do the tops of the buildings. I'm just going to do the tops. I have one come down there, maybe one come up here. Maybe this one has a triangle top on it. Bring it down. Maybe I got a couple of short guys here. A couple of tall guys next to each other. Maybe a third one in there. Come down. Maybe this one's got a round top to it. A really skinny one. And down we go. See? Those are all my buildings, just the tops. Now I'm going to take my line. I'm going to draw it across the bottom. Those are all the buildings. But they all look like one big mess, don't they? So now, I take my pencil, and I'm going to draw these lines down. Maybe some of the buildings have a different little added side piece. Now do you see how they're all becoming individual buildings? All right, now we have all of our buildings. None of them have doors and none of them have windows. We're going to do that in a little bit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in our sidewalk. That's just a parallel line that runs there, but it's more than that. It has the edge to it. Remember, when you step off a sidewalk, you go down a step, don't you? If you wanted to, we could even put sidewalk lines on here. Here's our sidewalk lines. Now we have to do our freeway. Now remember what I said about our freeway. See? That's our freeway, to remind you what we're going to be doing here. So I'm going to start around here. I'm going to draw a curved line that comes down like this. I'm going to draw another curved line that comes down like this. So here's our basic freeway. And I can erase these lines so I'm not confused about where my cars are going to be going. But now we have guardrails on the sides of our freeways so that people don't fall off. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing the top of that guardrail. That's a really skinny line. But as it gets closer to us, it gets a little bit fatter, like that. And I'm going to draw the top to this guardrail. I'm only drawing the top right now. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to draw the side to this one. So this goes up like this, and that goes over like this. This is our first guardrail. Now I'm going to draw my second guardrail. It goes like that. This goes this way, that goes that way. Okay, now I'm going to draw my car. Now I know that car looks complicated, but hang in there with me. I know you know the shape of a diamond, right? Do you see the diamond? Diamond 1, diamond 2, diamond 3. Okay, because we're looking at the top of that car. So I'm going to put my first diamond in. Okay, that is the roof of our car. I'm putting my second diamond in. This is the trunk of the car. Now the last diamond overlaps. That means it's kind of covered by the middle diamond. So here we have the hood where the engine is, the roof of the car, and the trunk of the car. I have to attach them. So I put these lines in here like that. Now I draw the side of the car. There's where the wheel is. There's where the back bumper is. Taillight, taillight. Come up here. Here's where the front wheel is. And there is where the front of the car is. So now my car is driving up the freeway. Now when I put in my doors and my windows, remember, your doors and your windows don't all have to be square. You can make round windows on this. You can put decorations on your building. Remember, if people can't see in your shop, they're not going to be going in. Don't get stingy with the windows. Make it a pattern. Just have fun putting in all your windows. Come up with new shapes for your windows. Like up here, why don't we put a triangle window up there? So here we have the basic beginnings of my cityscape. Now, we can upgrade this, and I'm going to show you the upgrade. Just want to remind you, here's our horizon line. Here are all of our buildings. This is the freeway that goes up and takes us into it. Looks a little bit like a limousine. I think I should correct this. We need some windows in there, but you get the basic idea. See, my windows are right there in this car. All right, so if you are among the lucky kids that have watercolor, some collage paper, and oil pastels, check it out. This is what we can do. I made this one a little bit different. Remember how I told you that Chicago is by the river? So I put mine by the river. And you see this shape? Because it's nighttime, this becomes a silhouette. That's our last word for the day, silhouette. That's when you can't really see the colors of the buildings. You only see a dark outline of the buildings. I took black construction paper and I cut out my buildings. Then I painted, and look, my sky. I just wanted to look like a sunset. So all my brush strokes went from one side to the other. I didn't stop. I went all the way across in one motion. That gave me these cool kind of stripes. So it looks like a setting sun. Now, after I painted it, then I glued in my city. That way I was sure that the paint came all the way up. You see, I have my little road here, and I used oil pastel, so when I painted my road, the yellow lines showed through. Got my boat, got my ocean. Now, these are cities that we're used to seeing, but there is an artist who makes really cool cityscapes that are a little unusual. His name is James Rizzi, and he makes happy buildings. So check these out. These are so fun. Pink sky, love the face on the sun. Look at these cool faces he puts on all of his buildings. All of them have faces, and they're always really bright colors. Look, this guy's sticking his tongue out at us. Let's take a look at another one here. Now check out the shapes of these. No two are the same. Look, this got a flat head. This guy's got little things coming. He's got a tall kind of hat, birthday hat on. Look at these different shapes, different colors. And down here, we have the subway trains, or the trains to get around town with all the people. This is daylight. This is nighttime. What's that? Looks like a UFO to me. Oh no, UFO! So this guy, Mr. Rizzi, he has fun with his cityscapes. I'm going to show you one more. There we go. This one is really long. Look at all of these. He does this daytime, nighttime thing a lot. My point of showing you this artist is to show you that cityscapes can be really fun too. So we did cityscapes today. Taught you how to make a cityscape. I hope you had fun. Thank you for joining us here at the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center's new series, Drawing and Seeing with me, Miss Donna. Please tune in again for another lesson. Thanks for joining us.